Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our flight in discovering one new Chinese expression a day. Yesterday, we talked about 双黄喜, which is a type of show that involves two people. That's why it's a 双 and 黄. Basically, is placeholder or an indirect way to say that there are two read like two tongues or two performers in the show, but actually not both of them make sound. So one of them is silent performer, that's act with body language only, and the other performer was behind him, mostly it's him, and then do the voice over. So the comical effect will come from this dissonance, this struggle between the voice and the body, the acting. So the voice try to control the body, somebody else's body to act out what it was saying. So that's the comedy come from. Okay. Today we have 出双入对. 双, again, double hand symbol over there to mean it's two of them. And 双 and 对 are kind of similar in the sense of, okay, both of them have a hand symbol in there. But 对 actually starts from this opponent. Or this, not opponent, but this matching of conversation. So in a conversation, you're expected to respond with a certain level of appropriateness. So this hand symbol with this pointer toward 1 inch down the wrist, that's the location for the pulse reading. And this 3-finger hand symbol with this means measured. So something respond with quantifiable measurement. So don't go away from this benchmark. So this is where you're supposed to land on. And we have this mouse symbol. And actually here is the tongue symbol that has this pointer of entering sign flip upside down, and this is actually this entering sign, which is this arch with this pointer on top of it. That's viewing from the language user's point of view, which is standing from the lower or the front, like a closer to the viewer and going outward, further away, and pointing toward somewhere else. And that pointer helps to enter into a new space because it's, higher pressure if it's ended on one point. So this is a kind of flipped upside down, and this pointer is pointing toward the mouse symbol. So it's kind of directionally point the entering into the mouse. And this horizontal line is signifying that it's not the original entity, it's the direction or the location where you're entering into a new space. And that new space, that part, that pointer, like on top of this sharp thing. So that's signifying like that's the future location of where it is. And so this double secure that over here, it means inside the mouse. It's the location within the mouse. And that's that's pointing toward the tongue because the tongue is inside the mouse and it's the only movable thing inside the mouse. Okay, so that's our tongue symbol. And on the top, there are two readings over there. One is to mean multiple because you see 4 columns, right? Pointing upward. That's multitude of something. That means a lot. And paired with the tongue and the mouse, tongue is part of the mouth. The whole symbol means tongue, and tongue symbolizes speaking. So multitude speaking means a lot of words. A lot of words, and with this measure, that kind of caution people when respond to question, use measured words, not a lot. So you can almost view it as the tongue symbol and then connect it with multitudes of spikes of words coming out of it. Like that's too much. you need to, so here on the right side is kind of constant reminder of, okay, this is 1 inch, this measure response is the right way, the right approach. I guess here we can put in the historical context of the ruler or the emperor. In the court of the emperor, whoever is going to respond to the emperor to answer his questions, inquiries, or something, got to use very cautiously the words, cannot overspeak or underspeak or use the wrong words that could come at a high cost, right? So that conversational appropriateness using measured words is what meant here. And so this match simply means in a dialogue situation, this answer or response to the initial inquiry got to be a good match to that. Oh, not oversupply information or under. Okay, so the second reading of this sign is we met this symbol a few episodes ago. That means a specialization. Specialization came from this instrument, hammer device. That's what these spikes is for. So those are kind of ridges on top of a beam from which the gong, the metal pieces of different pitches are going to be hung in the air, because for the gongs to make sound, to make vibration without interruption, it got to be hung in the air without touching anywhere, right? And that spacing in between them got to be controlled because they cannot collapse, like run into each other. So they need to be, I guess, evenly spaced and in their own assigned lot. So this simply visually is showing the gong, the musical instrument, kind of like I don't know if it's a gong, like the metal disc shape musical instrument hanging on this beam of with ridges. So that's a very special instrument, and that instrument very specialized, because otherwise we don't really have an application for such a structure, right? It's only for that exact purpose. And with that specialty of hanging the gongs, the instruments, came the specialty of profession, like whatever expertise you're in, right? So this profession plus speaking with the song, tongue, sign, and also measured speaking, means when you respond to some questions, you speak with your expertise with measured words. And that's another way to mean you match your answer to the question with the trained knowledge, and also with good measurement of, I don't know, in a communication theory, you have to gauge what your audience are care about, what they know, what they don't know, and then tailor your message to the audience, right? So that kind of match, that's with speaking appropriately in conversation context in mind. So that's what match is about. And eventually, when especially in this phrase, when we see 出双入对, 双 means double, right? Two of them. And this match, this 对, is also another way to say it's in pair. It's a good match, as if it's in a Q&A, as if it's in a conversation, that you have a response, appropriate response to a certain questions. So that's a kind of match. And especially in Chinese, we have this form of almost like a poetry or some play of words. When somebody say the first phrase or stance, depicting a scenery or using certain words that's noun, verb, and in a certain pronunciation, the response person, the whole language training is about to respond appropriately to match the exact, the word by word way of formation, but with new sets of words that's kind of corresponding both by sound and by meaning, and they can form an appropriate pair of pair of speech. So it's like two lines, the first stance and the second stance. And this second stance is considered the match. So that's almost like a word game that people play back then. And this matching of the second set match with the first set. And that's how they become a pair, a match. So this 出双入对, both 双 and 对 eventually becomes like a pair. Pair simply means, they're two hands, so they're essentially the same thing, right? Just double of them. But then the second one is emphasizing they are a pair, like they are appropriate to fit together. So that's the kind of pairing or matching we're talking about. Then we have this opposite meaning of 出 and 入. 出 means going outward. 入 means going inward. And outward we express by extravagating or digging out. Okay, let me use simple English words. Digging out this plant from the soil. So you can see almost a hole form of there after the plant was taken out from the soil. So I guess in agriculture practice, occasionally plant need to be uprooted so that the soil can be evened out and re-nourished for the next season, something like that. So this digging out the plant, this out, the plant, take out the plant from its original environment. I mean, technically would kill the plant, right? But this motion of taking out the plant from the soil become the out symbol. And in with this arch pointing kind of further away from the audience, the viewer direction, which is here at the bottom, at the base of the frame, that shows the motion of entering into a new space, because using this pointer or pointed edge to facilitate easier entering or puncturing some space. So that's how you express is going to enter. So this is the opposite direction. So if out means from here, you're taken out from the original place. This is you're from your space, which is below the arch, going outward, entering into a new space. So 出 and 入, they are the opposite direction. And 出双入对 is a Chinese formation of, okay, these two, 出 and 入, they are the kind of talking about the same thing, but in different directions, right? They're talking about the motion from A to B or B to A, right? If A is your base ground. And then 对, 双 and 对, they are pairs, but in two different senses, right? One is match, one is pair. So when Chinese form, there's 4 character phrases sometimes. I mean, most of the time they would do this mix and match thing. And it doesn't mean the 双, the pair, only going outward and the 对 only going inward. There's no such thing. That means 双 and 对, they are talking about basically the same thing with a slightly different meaning, right? And the 出 and 入, basically the same thing as well, with 2 different directions. When they pair together, it means 出入双对, actually. So it means just like this. It means whenever you going out or going in, you're always in pairs. Okay, so it's like forever buddy system wherever you go. So in English, in Chinese context, in pairs, it's a lot of times talking about couples. Whenever they go to places, they're always together, going somewhere together. And I use 2 fingers here to mean it's in pairs. They are sticking together. And 出双入对 simply, is a behavior commentary on this couples going to places. It doesn't necessarily mean going out or in, but of course, when we observers or the language users are describing such couple behavior, going anywhere in pairs, going any places together, it's most likely like going out. because it's in public space that's observable for the general public, that they are always going to places together. So that's what 出双入对 is about. Okay, cash into the country of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you later.